World Athletics Championships 2025 Review. Tokyo Show brings home hard truth for Indian athletics. Sachin Yadav's personal best in javelin throw was the lone bright spot as India failed to win a medal at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. What it means for the road ahead. Naval Singh, coach of Indian javelin thrower Sachin Yadav, had mixed feelings at the conclusion of the men's javelin throw competition at the 2025 World Championships. On the evening of September 18, belying all pre-event expectations, the 25-year-old Sachin nearly pulled off one of the biggest upsets in Indian track and field history. He threw a personal best of 86.27 m to briefly claim the silver medal position before eventually slipping just off the podium and finishing fourth. Even without a medal on his World Championships debut, Sachin outperformed some of the sport's biggest names. World leader Julian Weber and Olympic champion Arshad Nadeem both finished behind him. From an Indian perspective, perhaps more significant was the fact that Sachin finished ahead of Neeraj Chopra, the first time in 8 years that the Tokyo Olympic champion had been bested by another Indian. The last instance was at the 2017 World Championships, when Devinder Kong made the finals while Neeraj failed to advance from qualification. Remarkable as it was, Naval, who had stayed back in India with a liver ailment just weeks earlier, told Sportstar he was not fully satisfied. On the one hand, I'm happy that he got a personal best throw in such a major competition. But it feels incomplete. After the first throw, 86.27 m, I was expecting him to cross 90 m. In the past, Sachin had been throwing really hard in his first attempt, but something always went wrong. At the National Games, where he won gold in February this year, he had thrown over 86 m in his warm-up but twisted his ankle in his first throw. Then at the Neeraj Chopra Classic, in July, he nearly slipped again. At the World Championships, the plan was to go at only 80% in his first throw. So, after that went to 86 m, I was confident a much bigger throw was coming. But luck was not on our side, says Naval. Bad luck came in the form of one of the sudden downpours that swept across Tokyo's Olympic Stadium during the championships. When it rains, the Mondo track runway becomes really slippery. It becomes really difficult to control your run-up. I think if it wasn't for the rain, Sachin would have been standing on the podium, he says. Neeraj was another who might blame misfortune for his result. Having medaled at the last 2 World Championships, he seemed in good touch heading to Tokyo. He had crossed the 90 m mark for the first time at the Doha Diamond League and sailed through qualification with his first throw. What was not known until after the final was that he had suffered a back injury just weeks before. Unable to train or even throw until the start of the competition, Neeraj managed one big qualifying throw, but the final proved a step too far. India's contingent disappoints. Neeraj had entered the competition as India's best medal hope, with Sachin seen as a dark horse. With both falling short of the podium, India finished outside the medals altogether. This stood in stark contrast to the overall diversity of the medal table. A record 53 different nations reached the podium at these Worlds, surpassing the previous record of 46 set at Osaka in 2007 and equaled in Budapest in 2023. Beyond medals, India's overall performance in Tokyo was notably weaker than at the 2023 Worlds. In Budapest, 6 Indian athletes reached finals, setting 4 personal bests, 2 national records and 1 continental record. In Tokyo, only 3 athletes, high jumper Sarvesh Kusher, Neeraj and Sachin, made finals, while just 3, Sachin, Kusher and Pooja Alia in the 800 m, set personal bests. The men's 4x400 meter relay team, which had set the Asian record and finished 5th in Budapest, did not even qualify for Tokyo. Other disappointments included double Asian champion Gulveer Singh, who finished 16th in the men's 10,000 m and missed out on a 5,000-meter final spot by 1 place. In the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase, national record holder and Asian silver medalist Parul Chaudhary ended 20th overall, failing to make the final. Triple jumper Praveen Chithraval, who had registered a national record equaling 17.37 m earlier in the season, managed only 16.74 m in Tokyo. Still, there were bright spots. High jumper Kusher cleared a personal best of 2.28 m to finish 6th, the best ever result for an Indian high jumper at a global event. It was all the more remarkable given he was the shortest athlete in the elite final and had competed internationally only once this year, at the Asian Championships. Meanwhile, Pooja may not have advanced past her 800 m heat, but her 2 minutes and 1.03 seconds clocking made her the 7th fastest Indian ever in the event, marking her as a promising prospect for 2026. Mondo, McLaughlin stand out. If India's results disappointed, the championships still delivered a slew of headline performances in the first worlds of the 2028 Olympic cycle. 1 world record, 9 championships records, and 9 area records were set or equaled. There were also historic firsts: Samoa's Alex Rose, men's discus; St. Lucia's Julian Alfred, women's 100-meter; and Uruguay's Julia Paternane, women's marathon, all claimed their nation's first World Championships medals. Tanzania's Alphonse Felix Simbu won his country's first-ever gold in the men's marathon. Mondo Duplantis set his 14th world record in the pole vault, clearing 6.30 m. Melissa Jefferson Wooden of the USA completed a sprint treble in the 100 m, 200 m and 4x100 meter. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone ran the second fastest 400 m in history, 47.78, becoming the only athlete to win both the women's 400-meter and 400-meter hurdles title, having taken the latter in 2022. For Indian officials, Tokyo leaves questions. Did athletes peak too early? How wide is the gap between India's best and the world's? And is the nation's track and field reputation still tethered to the health of one athlete, Neeraj? Naval Singh, however, prefers to look ahead. Sachin did the best he could, considering he didn't have the best preparation for the 2025 season. We didn't really get an off-season. We have been competing right through 2024. But we will be preparing properly for next year. At the next World Championships, we want to be on the podium, he says.